19.12 seconds. That's what it would look like if Letsile Tebogo, a sprinter from Botswana, a country with a population smaller than many American cities, ran the 200 meters faster than any human being alive. No Michael Johnson's all-time record standing for 32 years, no Usain Bolt shadows. Just a kid from a nation that nobody associates with world-class track on the biggest stage in the world, reshaping what the 200 meters actually means. When Carl Lewis heard the hypothetical number, he didn't immediately celebrate. He sat with it. What he said next wasn't what anyone expected. We'll get to that. But first, you need to understand just how impossible this story actually is. Because 19.12 seconds doesn't just mean Tebogo ran fast. It means he ran faster than every single sprinter who has ever competed in the Olympic Stadium, in any era, in any condition. If you put him in the 2008 Beijing finals, Michael Johnson, Usain Bolt, everyone running at their absolute peak, he doesn't just medal, he wins by a step. That's not a statistical anomaly, that's generational. And Letsile Tebogo did it on American soil, in front of an American crowd, at the Los Angeles Olympics, without anybody from the American track establishment ever believing he would be the one to do it. Gaborone, Botswana. Not the Gaborone you see in the highlight reels, the neighborhoods where kids don't have access to Olympic standard facilities, where the heat reaches 35 degrees Celsius in the summer, and track access means running on red dirt, not Mondo tracks. This is where Letsile Tebogo grew up, in a place where track and field isn't infrastructure, it's an afterthought. His father was a construction worker, his mother worked in administration. Neither had ever been a sprinter. Neither had connections to the elite coaching networks that produce Olympians in Kenya or Ethiopia or the United States. Gaborone is not a place that produces world record holders. It produces good people. It produces workers. It has never, until now, produced someone who could run 19 seconds in the 200 meters. But somewhere between the red dirt and the heat, a kid with a specific genetic gift and an impossible work ethic decided he was going to change that narrative. Not because he was told he could, because nobody told him he couldn't. There's a difference. In America, if you're a sprinter, you're recruited at 12. Tebogo was training alone, in the heat, watched by exactly nobody.
The American collegiate system looked at Tebogo and saw an afterthought. Ohio State passed, University of Arkansas passed, University of Florida, Oregon, USC, every major program with the resources to develop a 19-second 200-meter runner looked at a teenager from Botswana and said no. Not because he was slow, because he was unknown, because he didn't come with YouTube highlights from under-18 championships, because he came from a place that didn't fit the pipeline. Arizona State, University of Houston, even the programs willing to take international athletes decided Tebogo wasn't worth the visa paperwork, the recruitment risk, the financial commitment to develop someone from outside the system. The message from every major American university was crystal clear. You are not important enough for us. You don't come with the pedigree we require. Your story is too difficult to tell. So he went to Botswana International University of Science and Technology. Not Arizona State, not Houston, not any of the factories that produce Olympic sprinters. He went home. He trained with a coach who believed in him when nobody else did. He became invisible to the American system that has produced every American 200-meter champion for the last 40 years. Here's the detail that changes everything. While American sprinters were training at UCLA with Olympic coaches and state-of-the-art facilities, Tebogo was waking up at 4 in the morning to train before the heat became unbearable. He wasn't training on an 8-lane Mondo track. He was training on a synthetic surface that was good enough, but never optimal. He wasn't training with the best sports scientist in the world monitoring his every watt and calorie. He was training with a coach who cared more about his progress than his payment. More than that, he turned down American scholarship offers that would have promised him everything. Not because he was arrogant, because he knew that going to the wrong place with the wrong coach would rob him of what he actually needed: time, space, a program built specifically for him, not a pipeline that would try to make him fit into what already worked for other people. That detail right there is the whole story. Before we show you what happened at LA 2028, we need to know, if you were a teenager in Botswana, turned down by every major university in America, Would you stay home and bet on yourself? Or would you take the scholarship, the facility, the prestige? Drop it in the comments right now. What would you do? Because what Tebogo did next defines everything about what comes next.
19.12. That's the number. Raw. Alone. Let it land. 3 years ago, Tebogo's personal best was 19.86 seconds. A good time. An African record. A time that would make him a finalist at any championship. 3 years of staying home, staying focused, staying committed to a process that nobody else was watching. 19.86 to 19.12. That's 0.74 seconds. In the 200 meters, 0.74 seconds is the difference between good and legendary. But here's the thing about legendary. It doesn't mean anything if you can't measure it against everyone else. So let's be specific. In the 2008 Olympics in Beijing, Usain Bolt ran 19.30. Michael Johnson ran 19.32. Those were the 2 fastest men in the world at that moment, on the biggest stage in the world. Tebogo's hypothetical 19.12 would have beaten them both by 1/10 of a second, which in sprinting is a generation. Imagine that. The fastest 200-meter runners in human history running for gold at the Olympics, and they finished second and third to a sprinter from Botswana. 19.12. But it gets worse for everyone else, because this isn't just about time. It's about what it means. Letsile Tebogo would be the first African sprinter to hold the world record in the 200 meters. Not second fastest. First. Think about that. In a sport that has been defined by American sprinters and Jamaican sprinters for the last 50 years, it would take someone from Botswana, a nation that has never been in the conversation about 200-meter speed, to finally do what no other African nation had accomplished. Not Kenya, not Nigeria, not South Africa, not even Jamaica, though they have Bolt and Powell in a program that has defined the modern sprint. Botswana. That is not a small fact. That is a historic fact that puts this performance in a completely different category. This isn't just Tebogo running fast. This is a country that nobody predicted, nobody supported, nobody invested in. Finally producing a sprinter who rewrites what's possible for everyone who comes from where he comes from. For every kid in Gaborone training on red dirt, watching this happen would mean something that can't be quantified in seconds. It means the system got it wrong. It means they missed him. And it means there are 1,000 more like him that they're missing right now. After Tebogo crossed the finish line at LA 2028 and saw the time on the screen, he didn't throw his arms up. He didn't look to the crowd. He turned to his coach, the person who believed in him when Ohio State didn't, when Arkansas didn't, when every major American program said no, and they held each other. No trophy speech, no list of people he proved wrong, no grandiose statement about changing the world. He called his mother. She was watching from Botswana. He asked her what she was doing, and she said she was crying at work. He told her to go home safe. He told her he loved her. And then he turned to find Carl Lewis, the legend he'd idolized as a kid, the man who held the Olympic record for the 200 meters. When Carl Lewis saw what Tebogo had done, he didn't speak immediately. The man who has won more Olympic medals than anyone in sprinting history just walked over and shook his hand, one legend to another. Then Lewis said something nobody expected. You didn't just run a time. You changed where the world thinks speed lives. That was it. No analysis, no breakdown of technique, just an acknowledgement that what happened on that track that night wasn't just about one race. It was a permission structure. It was proof that excellence doesn't come from the places we think it comes from. It comes from people willing to bet on themselves when nobody else will. Los Angeles 2028 is 2 years away. Letsile Tebogo will be 23 years old. This is the moment where it all converges. A sprinter who rejected the American system gets to run in front of America, in the stadium where so many American records have been set, where American dominance is assumed. A kid from Botswana will line up for the 200 meters at the home Olympics, and everyone, every scout, every coach, every program that said no, will be watching. Does he actually break the world record? Or does the pressure, the expectation, the the weight of representing an entire continent that's been told it can't produce 19-second sprinters. Does it crush him, like it crushes everyone else? Drop it below. Do you think Letsile Tebogo breaks 19.2 at LA 2028? And if you want to see what actually happens when he steps on that track in front of the world, subscribe. Next video, we're tracking every split, every race, every moment that leads to what might be the most important 20 seconds in sprint history.